Okay, now we got the video going, and my voice isn't very strong, and I got a kid up here taking a test, so I need everybody to kind of just be quiet so we can get through these problems. All right, here we go. Our job is to change this into rectangular coordinates. We remember that means X and Y. You memorized, well, you were supposed to memorize, Michael?
You said we had like a quiz or something for the end of the week. Was that it?
No.
Okay.
So you memorized that X equals R cosine theta and Y equals R sine theta. You memorized that. What is this? R. What is this? Theta. So it's just a matter of typing it in on your calculator. X equals 3 cosine 100 and Y equals 3 sine 100. So your answer was 3 cosine 100, negative 0.52, comma, 2.95. How does that look to everybody? Does that look like what you got?
No.
Okay, do you understand what you were supposed to do? To find X and Y, this is always what we do. When it says find X, this is what we do. Jabria?
When I typed that in my calculator, I got 2.52.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm in degrees.
That's what I got.
Okay, I'm in degrees. Are you in radians?
We switched yesterday, so I don't think I switched that.
Okay. Now, for this one, we are finding R comma theta. We need R and we need theta. Jimmy Webb.
Oh, that was dirty.
Whatever it was, it could possibly have been as important as finding the polar coordinates for 3 comma 5. All right, here we go. This is our strategy. We're going to draw a picture of 3 comma 5. Over 3 up 5.
Yep.
This is R. Well, shoot, we don't have to find that. What's R?
334.
3 squared plus 5 squared, the square root of that, so that would be root 34.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
This is theta. We know how to find that. No, wait. Tangent theta equals 5/3. So the buttons we'll press are second tangent 5/3.
Yep, ma'am.
Now, if you were in radians, your answer won't look like this. You did the right thing, but it'll look different. I got 59.04. And actually, there'll be no deduction for that because when you write polar coordinates, you're allowed to have theta in radians. And nothing in the direction said it had to be degrees. So that will not be a problem. This one you're going to lose a little bit of points for.
All right, that's fair.
All right, does anybody have a question about one of those? Jack?
When you're doing the fraction, do you always use the second number as a numerator? Or?
Yeah, because it's always opposite over adjacent.
Okay, right.
Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's tangent.
Okay,
So
thank
this
you.
will always be opposite over adjacent. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Also, Jack, another way to think about it, this is x comma y, and tangent is y over x.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so we good with that? Okay, we got a couple of things to learn today, and then I hope we can do a little catch up and review. Take a look at your note sheets. We are now on 6.6, which is on the back of page 52. Now this first part is so easy, you will love it. Okay, the first part just says plot this. You're not gonna believe how easy this is. If I wanna plot 1 minus 2i, I just count over 1, down 2, and connect that point to the origin. Make a little vector there. That's 1, negative 2. Over 1, down 2. So in other words, this acts like the x, and this acts like the y. That's all there is to it. That's it, I'm done. Okay, so what would the next one look like? Negative 2 plus 3i.
Left 2 over 3. I mean,
Left 2, up 3, there it is.
Is that like an arrow or like a dot?
When we draw vectors, we normally just put one tip on the arrow. It's like an arrow, but we only put one tip on.
Okay.
Because you put 2 tips on there, it looks like a ray.
Okay.
Oh my, look at the next one. Any ideas what
There's
4i?
You just go
You
to
just
the
stay
four.
there and you go up 4.
Okay. Somebody said there's no x, so let's maybe put a 0 there. Does that help?
Yeah, just go up 4.
Just go up 4. So that one is just going to look like this. It's just up 4. Now, the next set of problems says write the number in trigonometric or polar form. It's okay, Meredith. We like math. What is trigonometric or polar form? Well, you know what polar means. Polar means which variables? R and theta. Polar form is a little bit different than polar coordinates. When we write a number in polar form, we write r cosine theta plus I sine theta. That is called polar or trigonometric form. Personally, I like, Robbie, would you pull your seat out from the back wall? And keep your eyes open. Thank you. Personally, I like to use an abbreviation for this. You are allowed to use this. This is the correct form. This is the long form. But you're also allowed to abbreviate it like this. So this is kind of the shorthand abbreviation for polar form. And CIS stands for cosine I sine.
So we don't need the parentheses anymore?
Nope, you don't. You can write everyone this way, Maria. I will. This is the way I'll be writing mine. Okay, now, kids, this is easy. You have the number 3 plus 4i. You just learned how to draw pictures of that. Let's draw a picture of that. 3 plus 4i would be over 3 up 4. Would you agree with that? What's the r that goes with that combination?
5. 5.
9 and 16 is
5.
25, so it's 5. Could we find the theta that goes with that? How would we do that? Second tangent, what would we put in?
4 over 3.
4 over 3. And if I'm in degrees, it's 53.13. So what do I write down in the answer blank? Well, it has to be this format, but now I know that r is 5 and theta is 53.13, so my answer is 5 CIS 53.13. That's the answer to question number 2A.
So you don't have to solve it?
You don't have to do anything with it. What's the matter, Meredith?
I didn't get that when I put it in.
Are you in radians or degrees? Okay. Let's do the next one. See if you can get this one.
Ms. Ford,
Mm-hmm.
how come you don't talk about this because of the imaginary number?
How come I don't what?
Like you don't just plug it into that form because of the imaginary number that you can't add them,
How come I don't plug them into this form?
or yeah.
I can't. These are the same thing. This form and this form are the same thing. This is just a shorthand one without writing out all the words.
Okay.
That stands for cosine, that stands for I, and that stands for sine.
Alright.
So absolutely, Clark, if you wanted to write 5 cosine 53.13 plus I sine 53.13, you absolutely could do that.
Oh well, what I'm saying is, how come you don't like do the equation that's in the parentheses?
Oh, add these together?
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, this one has an I, is that what you meant? Yeah, that one has an I, yeah. Now, most of you are not knowing to write all this. You're gonna use a shortcut. All right, here we are, back to this one. Did you draw a picture of it yet? What did you get for your radius? 2 root 2. The square root of 8, 2 root 2. Even without a calculator, can you tell what that angle is?
Yeah, it's gonna be 45.
It's going to be 45, Timmy, you're right. And how do we know that?
Because it's a 2 root 2.
Because the sides are the same. That means it's isosceles right triangle. Good. 45 is not your angle, though, kids. This is your angle. What would the measure of that thing be? So 2 root 2 CIS 135 is the answer to the question.
Did you subtract it from 180? How did you know that was already 45?
Pardon me?
Never mind. Well, no.
Why is that the
Why
Because
is
it's
that
because both sides are equal.
Why is that
Like
the
remember the 360.
Because you always start over here on the positive x-axis, remember?
Okay.
We've always started there when we measured an angle.
Okay.
Let's look at the next one. Now, this next one gave us some trouble this morning.
That's the radius.
You want to sit up, Timmy?
This is the radius.
What is shining on your finger?
It's a flashlight.
Can you want to turn that off?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Shut down his life, shut down his soul.
Okay. All right, now, we had some trouble this morning with this one because we weren't very good with the arithmetic. In order to find R, we're going to square that, and add them together, right? Now, when you square this,
It erases.
you
36.
square both parts of it, though. So when you square the first part, you'll get 16. And when you square the second part, you'll get 3. You get the square root of 9, which is 3.
It's 48.
And that's 48.
You multiply them together?
Yep. Because, Jabria, this is a multiplication problem. Now, what do you get when you square this one? 16. So now we're going to add 48 and 16. And we get 64, and the square root of 64 is 8. So my radius is 8. Remember, I'm writing it in polar form, so I need my CIS. So I have 8 CIS.
So 10.
Now, this is where we ran into trouble. We know we're going to second tangent 4 over 4 root 3, right?
Gotta bring the root 3 up.
No, you don't need to because you're going to put it in the calculator. But what you do need to do is put the denominator in parentheses. When you divide by more than one thing, make sure it's in parentheses. So if we second tangent 4 divided by parentheses, 4 divided by root 3, you get 30 degrees, don't you?
But it's not that you have to subtract that.
But it's not 30. Don't put 30 here. What are you going to put here? This angle, which is 330. How do we get 330?
360 minus 30.
360 minus 30.
Is that a B or a 6? In the next one. In the next problem.
Oh, it's a 6i. So the next problem is 6i. Now, we had one like this earlier. What did we decide 6i looked like?
0, 6i, go
0 plus 6i.
Is this gonna be 90 degrees?
It is going to be 90 degrees, Clark. This is it right here, right? How long is that radius? 6. CIS 90. There's your answer. You don't need a calculator. You don't need anything. Does everybody understand why the angle's 90?
Yes.
All right, couple more things to do. Number 3, we're going to go backwards now. The number is written in polar form, and we want to go back to the regular form. Now, before you start worrying, this is the longhand form. This is the same as this. This is R, this is theta. You need to write that number as x plus yi. You want to write it so it looks like this. How do you find x and y? We've already talked about it this morning. How do you find x and y?
The cosine and sine.
R cosine theta, R sine theta. So to find the x, I will take R cosine 20 and R sine 20 to find y. I will simply type them into my calculator. 5 cosine 20, please be in degrees. 5 sine 20. And now I can write my final answer, which will be 4.7 plus 1.71i. This is the form you're shooting for now. You have R, you have theta. You can find x and y in a snap. Do number B for me, letter B. Yep. What?
Can you give a quiz?
We might have a
Doesn't
quiz
count.
tomorrow.
What if we're not here?
Well, you don't have to make this one up.
So if we are here, technically we ought to take it instead of pick it up.
You'll want to take it, trust me.
Is it extra credit?
Is it gonna be like really easy? Jesse?
Can I come in and take it before school?
No.
No, it's actually today after school.
My flight leaves at 11.
Ooh.
I'd come
Flight
in.
for
Yeah, sorry, I have no control over it. So I can come in and see you early morning and take
Well,
it.
his mom works here, and even he's leaving early.
Okay, Jack, I'm flying too.
I don't care what
Do you have B done?
Yes.
What did you get, Jabria?
7.83 plus 1.66i.
Does anybody want to agree or disagree with Jabria?
Just round up.
Where did she get these numbers?
She added
IE or something.
X equals 8 cosine 12
8 sine 12.
and Y equals 8 sine 12. Perfect. Now, I don't want you to freak out when you look at number C.
Okay.
Letter C.
You do the 3 times 180 though, I think.
Exactly, Jack.
Or plus.
C is in radians, but you know how to change that. What's pi?
180.
180. Divided by 10 is 18. Times 3 is 54. So that problem is really just for CIS 54. And how do you find x?
R cosine theta. Y cosine.
For cosine 54?
Yep.
And how do you find y?
4 sine 54.
4 sine 54. Isn't it easy?
So easy.
Did anybody get an answer for me? Clark?
2.35 plus 3.24i.
How's that sound, everybody?
Great.
Good? Very good. Now, the last two things we have to learn today, or I should say we get to learn today, are how to multiply these numbers and how to divide them.
This is good.
Yes.
Will the numbers ever be different, like for cos and sine? Like for A, how is both 20? Will they?
Oh, no, they have to match. They will always match.
I do D all the time.
Okay, now, hey, we're almost done. I need you to pay attention, just a few more minutes here. We are going to multiply these numbers, and then we are going to divide these. Now, I think probably the easiest thing for me to do is just to do the first one and have you figure out what I did, rather than me telling you. I'm just going to do the first one. Multiply these two numbers together. Here would be the answer.
So matrices.
So who can see how I got that answer? Meredith.
You did 10 times 3, and then you did 4 plus 11.
So, in general terms, I multiply the r's. Remember, this is RCIS theta. These are the r's. I multiply the r's, and I add the thetas. So I multiply the r's and add the angles.
Do you have to write it with that Z? Those?
Just so script.
Like equals? Or can you just write the answer?
You can just write the
We
answer.
talked about.
Okay, now what about this one?
Not really.
Then, now that we know the rule, Clark, what's this one gonna be?
20 CIS 4 times.
Perfect, except for one little thing. Can anybody get, he's right, he's got the right answer. I'm not gonna quibble with that.
Drug test.
Ford,
Yeah,
is Ellie Perez in the room?
she is.
She has an early dismissal. She needs to come to the front office. Thank you.
Hi, Ellie.
Gosh, you're so unfortunate.
Bye, Ellie.
Oh my God.
Bye,
I feel so bad for you. You're gonna miss the quiz tomorrow.
Now, what do you think is wrong with this number?
It's
It's kind
a
of
big
big.
number.
It's kind of big.
Where's
And
yours?
in fact, it's more than a revolution. And the rules say that your angle can't be more than a revolution. Now, it came out that way. There's nothing we can do about it. But now we have to fix it. How could we fix this?
You could turn it into the form of the pie.
No, I mean, I could, but no. Can't you just rewrite this as 20 CIS 50? How'd I do that?
I don't know.
I subtracted 360. Here's the deal, kids. 410 is all the way around, and how much more? 50 more. That's all I care about. I don't care about this extra round. I don't want to deal with that. So I just pull that out. Aren't these two angles going to be graphed in the same spot? I need the smaller one. So my answer is finally 20 CIS 50. How do you make an angle that's too big smaller? You subtract 360. Now, anybody want to take a wild guess? This is a division problem. Anybody want to take a wild guess how we might divide these. Jabria.
We would divide the R's and subtract the betas.
So your answer will be 2 CIS 9. Bingo, correct answer. We divide the R, subtracting. How about this last one then?
It's not divisible.
No, but it's reducible. 18,
6 over 5.
6 over 5. And then minus 100.
But that would be 260.
Exactly, Clark. The correct answer is 6/5 CIS 260. Now, let's talk about that. When we did the problem, we did not make a mistake. The answer came out to be negative 100. We have no choice. That's what we got. But the rules say you can't be bigger than 360 and you can't be negative. If you're bigger than 360, you subtract the 360. If you're negative, you add 360 so that you become positive. Okay, Timmy?
I'll put it away.
No, you're giving it to me. I gave you a chance to put it away.
So, she's kidding me, it's for
Can I get it after class?
No, you get it at the end of the day.
End of the day. I need that for next class. I take notes on my iPad next class.
I'm very sorry about that.
Never did.
So does everybody understand where the 260 came from?
You can just keep that. I don't want that.
Yes.
Okay, your homework tonight is in the book. Jack, will you turn this off?
Yeah.
The homework is in the book. You have